Hello, everyone. Auntie Pre-Med here decided to do a live and hopefully create a video that I think will be great for the YouTube algorithm. How old is too old for medical school? And I've seen so many videos with that title. I've even looked up that video title myself as I was preparing to go to a post baccalaureate program and really pursue medicine in a very intentional way. And I wanted to hear the perspective mostly of people who were trying to go to medical school at an older age, although it was quite helpful. And there are videos out there from doctors who pursued medicine while they were young or more traditional age, and then there are certainly videos out there from the perspective of medical school professors or administrators, and that's good too. But I really want to hear the experience of individuals who were going through the process. Now, where am I in the process? I am about 75% complete. Yeah, at this point, all of my prerequisites, although I will go on and complete an entire post-bac program, which is a considerable amount of science classes, more than I actually need to apply to medical school. But I think that will be helpful for me, especially being out of the classroom so long. So I will take classes like pathophysiology, um, microbiology, uh, embryology. I plan on taking all those classes before I get to medical school. Um, but it was and it is very helpful as you are preparing. I would say if you're pre-med or you're interested in becoming pre-med and you are an older student and you've been out of the classroom space for a long time, I do think going into a post-bac program is probably the best way to go, to get you acclimated, also to get you in connection with professors who you may need to write you recommendations. Um, and it's also good to get a test run on developing good study habits. And I don't want to be too repetitive of things that you'll probably hear on other videos, uh, and because I quite certainly heard those things a lot too. But I want to also confirm and attest to those things that definitely doing a post bac program I think was a good move versus just trying to take those prerequisites outside of a program. And even better is if you can do a post bac program where you'll actually get the recommendation or reference from a pre health committee. The program I did at South College does not offer that. And so that is my only sort of regret in going to South College. But other than that, I think it is a very good program. And the professors, it's all online, but they do make themselves available, just enough for you to feel like, okay, if I really, really need some support, there's somewhere I can go. And they all offer free tutoring services as well. The other thing about going to a post bac program is that some of them also offer MCAT prep um, programs or courses, and that's also has not been made available to me in the program that I am. But that's okay. I can study on my own. But it's nice to have everything in one place for you, again, especially if you are non-traditional and you have other things going on like working and kids, etc. Now for me, as an older pre-med student, and I fully intend to do this video now as a pre-med student who has a little bit of ground under me, and I'm actually in the application process, and working on secondary applications now for fall of 2025. So I would say, oops, I'm sorry, my TV came on there and I just need to turn that off. Give me 1 second. All right, let's put that on picture mode. So I have, you know, a little bit of traction under me. And so I want to do this video again once I'm in medical school, because I'm believing that's going to happen. And I want to do it again once I'm sort of in my second or third year. And then I want to do it once I'm doing like a residency. I would like to do this video again, just to see if my perspective on how old is too old for medical school is the same as I sort of traverse through the process myself. So that is the $1 million question, like how old is too old for medical school? And you've probably heard this a lot in other videos, and yes, I'm going to repeat it. I don't think that you should or can put an age on your dreams or your goals. If it's something you really want to do, go forward. But I will say this, make sure it's something that you're not doing because you need to prove something to anybody else. Make sure it's not something you're doing just because, boy, it would be nice to have that title. Make sure it's not anything you're doing because, you're bored or you just feel like, hey, I need something else to conquer. I think when you're older, it really, really has to be a genuine passion for you, because there's a lot that goes along with it. And there are a lot of sacrifices that you have to make. And it is so true. And in order to go up, sometimes you have to give up. Most of the time you have to give up to go up. And, becoming a doctor, you're going up. You're going up as far as a career that will have a level of commitment to it, both as a student and as a professional. So you have to know that this is something that I would say that you're called to. um and also, if you're called to it, I think you will really enjoy it a lot more. um I've always had a knack for science and kind of preferred my science in classes over any other classes. But now it's even different for me. Now I enjoy learning because I really do feel called to be a doctor, and the courses that I take, I feel like are going to help me to be the most competent doctor I can be if I understand the material, because I do believe that everything I'm learning, even at the most um, remedial level of like biology or basic chemistry, I feel like it's all building and it's going to compound to a knowledge level that will make me a good doctor, a good diagnostician, a good um, you know uh, gleaner, as far as reading research material and applying that and utilizing that to provide my patients with the best care. And so it's more than just taking a class. It's really about, you know I need this material so I can be the best physician I can be. It's not even about getting a high score on an MCAT. It's not about having a high GPA. I think if you're focused and you're doing it because you really want to do it and you love it, and you see the value in it, the high GPA is going to come. Like that's just part of it. So I just think that, you know yes, there's no age, but if you're not at the mental maturity level of this pursuit, to be pursuing it just for the love, the passion, and because you feel a calling for it, it really doesn't matter what age you are, right? You're not ready. You could be 40, 50, 60. And if you don't have that level of passion for it, then you just already dead in the water, I think, because it takes an extreme amount of sacrifice. Um, Case in point, like this past week, I'm in my fourth semester of my post-bac program. Um, on top of having up to 9, 10 homework assignments slash quizzes, labs that I have to do, turn in. I have to study for the MCAT, as well as I started on secondary applications, which mean I had to do multiple 500-word essay. And when I say multiple, I mean like I had to do like 25 500-word essays. Um, and I know that a lot of people, don't have the luxury of not working. So I don't want to assume that you have that ability. But if you have that ability, if you have someone who can support you and you can step aside from work to just really give it a full effort, do that, because you don't want to wear yourself out in the pre-med process to the point where you're burnt out by the time you get to medical school. I'm blessed that I'm not working right now. And so I can dedicate my whole day to the pursuit every day, other than taking care of my dogs, exercising, making sure I'm in the best health and shape that I can be. And I'm really proud of myself too, because with all of the courses and getting ready for the MCAT, etc., I've lost at this point 20 pounds. And that's because I've really just said, you know what? I want to be a doctor with everything in me. I want to have the energy to learn and be a part of the process, and the stamina. And I want to be healthy, and I also want to represent good health. So I lost 20 pounds, and I'm continuing to lose weight. And that isn't easy to do, but I think I wouldn't have been able to focus on my health as well if I was working. So I say all that to say that it's something that you just have to really be in a place where mentally you're ready to give it all you have. And if you can, um you know not work, don't work. Like, just really focus on what you need to do. And then, look, life is not going to stop lifing because you decided you want to pursue your dreams. And if I can tell you all the things that I've had to endure outside of the pursuit of medicine in the past year and a half, you all would be like, you should give up. You would give up for me, but I'm like, no, I'm determined. I'm not going to let anything get in my way, because the first time I tried to do this, I let life get in my way. And I thought that because life was lifing, that was a sign that maybe this is not what I should be doing. And the reality is, no matter what you choose to do, life is always going to have something that surprises you, some sort of obstacle that is going to get in your way. And so these past, I would say, 7 or 8 months, I had to deal with an apartment fire. I had to deal with a very major health issue of my own that, thank God, I'm beyond, and he's healed me. But it was, a little touch and go there for a minute. um, I had to do I am dealing with, and still dealing with, a very unsupportive spouse, and we are separated and headed to the court for divorce sooner or later here. But I'm focused right now, and so I'll deal with that when I can deal with it. But yeah, I'm married, and I told my spouse about this dream that I've had some years ago. I told him about it. And he said he didn't think I could be. He didn't say he didn't want me to be. He said he didn't think I could be. Like, I don't have the capacity to be a doctor. And so, can you imagine trying to go down this very, very difficult journey with someone, basically, who doesn't believe in you, and you have to look that person in the face every day. So fortunately for me right now, I don't have to look that person in the face every day. But, you know, just that alone means that there is no possibility for reconciliation, because I know that becoming a doctor is my calling. There is nothing else I am going to pursue at this point for the rest of my life. I don't care how long it takes me to get into medical school. I don't care how long it takes me to finish medical school. I don't care how long it takes me to finish my residency. Like, this is what I'm doing. And once someone says something like that, there's no turning back. And so that's the other part about being older. A lot of times when you're older, you've already made connections and ties, whether it's marriage or family or children or whomever. And those people have to be on board. And if they're not, you have to make some very real adult decisions around, is this person going to be in my life? Is pursuing medicine like more important to me than this person? And if it is something, just something you want to do, that decision is going to be hard. But if it's something you feel called to do, like I do, the decision for me is not that hard. It's like, okay, bye. Because I'm not going to live the rest of my life outside of my calling. That wouldn't be a life. That's not a life. That's just me existing and wondering, like, when is it all going to end? And I cannot live like that. Now, granted, there were some other issues too. That's not the only issue. But boy, is it was that a big issue. Um, and I can say that for me, uh, I think I'm doing much better in my studies. And I'm being careful with my words because I don't want to disparage anyone publicly, but I feel like I'm doing better academically in my classes. I'm doing better with my studying because, I'm not with my spouse right now. And that's just is what it is. I feel like if that individual was around, it would just be a lot of drama. It would be a lot of me having to respond to the drama, which can then lead to mental and physical health issues. And it's just a distraction, just a huge distraction. So that's one of the things too. Like, if you're older and you're really thinking about, like, am I going to do this? Are the people in your life behind you 100%? And if they're not, are you really ready to say, "Okay, I goodbye. Peace out." I mean, it sounds rough, it sounds harsh, but it is what it is because if medical school, which I believe it is, requires anywhere the amount of commitment and determination that I've had to make in just doing the applications and studying for the MCAT and taking these prerequisites, taking 18 credits every 10 weeks, right, for the past 7 months. If medical school requires any level of that commitment, and again, I know it does, and I know residency does, then I'm glad I found out now in the journey versus when, I'm in medical school actually needing to learn and study for boards and pass boards so I can actually practice medicine. So I'm glad I know now, and something that you should seriously think about too. So this video is getting a little too long, and I think I hit the main points that I want to hit. Like, how old is too old? It's never too old as long as you know that it's a calling and not just something you want to do. How old is too old? Never too old as long as you're mentally mature enough to make the commitment and stick with it no matter what. Like, you got to be determined. And then how old is too old? Well, when you're older, you've made some connections, you have some relationships and some people in your life that if they're not on board, they can really derail what you're trying to do. And so are you old enough, mature enough to say, hey, I'm dedicated to this all the way. And it doesn't matter who's with me or who's not with me. I'm doing this. And if you love me, you're going to love me through this. And if you're not, if you don't believe in me, then I'm sorry. You're just going to have to step to the side. And like I said, I know that sounds harsh, but it is what it is. As you all know, I'm a believer in Jesus, and I'm not just a believer. or a follower, but at this point, I am dedicated, to him. And I've lived my life, doing what I feel like he would have me to do. And I feel like it is Jesus who has called me to medicine. I feel like he's been calling me a long time and I've been running. But I finally answered the call, and I feel like he has cleaned up my life in a way and is cleaning up my life in a way so that I can do what he has called me to do. And when Jesus was calling his disciples, some of them said, "Hey, I need to go check with, family, and I need to go see about these." And he was just like, "No, you have to follow me. You have to come now. Like, you either going to be about me or you're not." And even when the disciples said, "Hey, Jesus, your brother, your sister, your mother, your family is outside." And he was just like, "No, no, my family is those who are doing the will of my Father." So if you have a calling on your life and you know it's God's will for you to pursue medicine or pursue anything, and you have family or people in your life who are naysayers, who don't believe in you, it's okay. You can say, "Hey, right now we ain't family because you're blocking me from doing the thing that I am called to do." And I promise you, if you don't do it because of family, you're not going to be able to blame them. You only person you're going to be able to blame is yourself when you're living in a pool, the deep end of the pool of regret. Okay, so yeah, that's what I want to share. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it in the chat. If I can be helpful to you in any way, I'm happy to do so because I know this journey is not easy. It's not easy for me, but God makes it easy day by day. And then if I can give a little bit to help somebody else in the journey, that would just make my day. All right. So I will see you on my next video. Auntie Pre-Med out.